Hello everyone, it is currently New Year's Eve and I am quarantined in my room, in my house. So no parties for me tonight. Thanks Rona, you suck. Anyways, but I decided that I wanted to do a what I read slash watched in 2021. And I will just tell you guys right now, I have been so bad about reading this year. So the things that I've read, people are out here with like 80 books that they've read. I've take that, scratch off like 70, and that's what it is. But yeah, three of them, some of them are like rereads. So, but I'm still saying because that's still reading a book, okay. And then I'll probably talk about TV shows that I've watched and maybe movies. I don't really know yet about movies though because I haven't watched an insane amount of new ones because I always tend to rewatch things and like because it's easier that way for my little brain. But yeah, I also want to have this, I wanted to make this video so then when I come back maybe next year and I want to do the same thing, it'll be really interesting to like hopefully see that like there's more like books that I've read because I have a lot of books that I want to read and I want to read more. So I'm hoping that it'll be a much different next year. But yeah, I'll get started with the books portion of the video. Alright, so this is my tiny little stack of books that I read slash reread, and there are two more that I don't have with me because one of them a friend lent to me, and then the other one is actually with the same friend that I gave to him to read because he hadn't read it before. But I will start and do it in order, kind of when I read these. I think this one was the first one that I read. It is The Freedom Writer's Diary. I had to read this for my English class earlier this year, and I really liked it, actually. I found it was really interesting. It obviously, if none of you guys have read this or watched the movie, it basically follows the storyline of this teacher who is new, so she's put with like the freshman year level kids, and it's basically like a challenge because a lot of them are from, you know, really bad areas. They come from just not great backgrounds, and they don't really trust her at first and like don't really believe that she can really do anything better than past teachers that they've had, but they end up forming this really close bond, and like even like the people that seemed like the toughest and the most reserved ended up like, you know, opening up and all that kind of stuff throughout the book, and it's in the form of diary entries. So she had her students write diary entries, and they were kind of like completely anonymous, and it was just really inspiring. It's I know it's a really bad, it's not the greatest description, but I think I like 100% recommend this, and the movie. Both are really good. Next one was The Kite Runner. This one was a reread because I had to read it for my English class, and I had originally read it in my senior year English class. So I had to read it again for my college course last semester, and it follows this guy who basically has to go back and like visit like his hometown, and he has to face like a really bad decision that he made and things that he did as a young boy, and it follows his storyline and revisiting the past and like running into old people, and like it's one of my favorite books that I've ever read. It's honestly genuinely amazing, and if you haven't read it yet, I would really suggest that you read it because it's beautiful. The next one was Taming of the Shrew. I also had to read this for my English class this year. This is a play by Shakespeare, and honestly, there's the 10 Things I Hate About You movie, which I also had to watch for this class too, while we're reading this, because 10 Things I Hate About You is based off of this play. Yeah, I don't actually know how to describe this, but if you've seen 10 Things I Hate About You, then it's kind of a similar concept, except this was a lot, this book, this play was a lot more like straight up and like straight up rude. I couldn't say that I recommend this one, if I'm being completely honest, just because I just had to read it for a class. It was definitely funny at times. It was just really, it was nothing like I've ever read. Like, I don't usually read plays. So I wouldn't say I recommend this one, but I do recommend 10 Things I Hate About You. And then I had to read Mouse. I also had to read this from English class. Genuinely so eye-opening, and like, I don't even know how to describe these. So it's comic book format, right? But it follows a Holocaust story. The Jews are depicted as mice, and then the Nazis are depicted as cats. So it's obviously like the cats are the predators, mice are the prey. It's that connection, but it's not a light read. It's definitely heavier, but I think it's like a beautiful work, and I would recommend it just to get a new perspective and to learn something new about the Holocaust and like another story. It's genuinely beautiful. I think the comic book, choosing to do comic books as a format is like really cool. So I would suggest it. Next, I read 5 Feet Apart, which is, I originally watched the movie and I really loved the movie. So I decided to pick up the novelization, and it's pretty similar to the movie, except the ending is different, and I won't spoil it, but the ending is really nice because it gives me like more hope than the movie. But yeah, it follows 2 teens with cystic fibrosis, and they fall in love, and it's really nice to read, and it's really cute, and I love the movie, and I was really glad to have read the book. So, and then I reread the Hunger Games series. You guys know what the Hunger Games is about. I don't have to describe them, but these books and the movies have had me on a chokehold since I was like 10 years old. I can't stop loving them. Like, I enjoyed like every moment rereading these over the summer. Like, they're just, Catching Fire is the best one in my opinion, and the best movie. But all of them, I can't get over them. And then the movies. Lastly, the most recent thing I read, which took me so long, was Station 11. It was really hard for me to like it at first. That's why it took me so long. And then once I finally started to like progress in the storyline, I was like, oh my god, like, this is crazy. And I think HBO Max is making like a series out of it, so that's like really exciting. But yeah, it's basically about a flu pandemic that happens, which was, you know, quite fitting for what's going on right now. It follows like the main character is this girl named Kirsten, and she's with this thing called the Traveling Symphony. But there are other characters that are focused on throughout the book, and honestly, those other characters, like Arthur Leander, like, their storylines were much more interesting in my opinion than Kirsten's. But it follows like her and the Traveling Symphony. They're like a bunch of musicians and actors like going around and trying to keep like music and acting alive in theater and all of that. And it has this like really like interesting like plot twist at the end, and again, it was really hard for me to read at first, but once I did get through the book, I found that the very, very, very ending to be a little bit anticlimactic, but it was definitely a roller coaster to read and quite interesting. So, I mean, I would recommend it for sure, but I wouldn't say it's everybody's cup of tea. Okay, now I'll be moving on to what I watched this year. Beginning at the beginning of the year, I watched Legend of Korra from the Avatar series, and it was difficult at first for sure, because each season is like kind of different and like not connected. So it was the beginning of season 1 like kind of slow, but then you know, it picked up. And it's just the same with each season. Like, it was really hard to connect, for sure. And I really like things being able to connect with each other. But I mean, I loved the ending of the show. I was really sad when it was ending, but I was like, yeah, this is like a really good ending. But yeah, I really liked it. It was good. I don't really have much more to say because it was at the beginning of the year and I haven't like rewatched it or anything, but I liked it. The next show that I ended up watching was Outer Banks, and I originally said that I wasn't going to watch Outer Banks because I didn't really see why people thought it was so interesting just based on what I had seen about it, but like both of my sisters like started watching it at separate times, and so I was like, sure, why not? I'll watch it. I ended up loving it. I watched it in the summertime, like perfect summer show. Like if you haven't seen it, like I would totally watch it. Like it's really good, and I'm really excited that there's going to be a new season. And then I watched Anne with an E. I love Anne with an E. I think I'm actually going to rewatch it because I'll have plenty of time because I'm quarantined right now. Anne with an E obviously follows like the general storyline of Anne of Green Gables with its own twist on it. Anne with an E, it's very wholesome and lighthearted, but it also has this, you know, these kind of other topics that are really important, I feel like, it addressed in the show. And obviously I absolutely love Anne and Gilbert, which, I mean, throughout the 3 seasons it takes forever for them to admit their feelings. That doesn't, you know, but they are the, you know, the main romantic kind of focus in the show, and there's other ones in it too, but I really love the 2 of them. And it's overall, like, if you just want a really cute show to watch and you will definitely cry, I would watch Anne with an E. It is so good. So I ended up deciding not to talk about movies because I can never seem to keep track of what movies I'm watching on my own on Netflix and stuff like that. So maybe I'll do like another video, but probably not for like a 2021 recap. But yeah, I just thought I'd let y'all know. I didn't completely forget that that was kind of the original plan, but I just decided not to talk about that. Well, that's all I really got. Nothing too crazy for this video. I just wanted to make it before 2021 ends. But I'm hoping to maybe I'm definitely going to rewatch Anne with an E. I might start Grey's Anatomy. I've seen a lot of it already because I've watched a lot of it when it was live on TV when I was like a kid. And I've seen a lot of episodes when my sister was watching it. And as far as books, I bought the Star Wars novelizations for the sequel movies last year to read. I'm currently reading the Force Awakens novelization, and it's been really hard for me for some reason because it's not super like grappling. Like, I've seen the movies so many times, so I know what's gonna happen. So something about reading the novelization isn't really too exciting. So honestly, I might have to just like put that away and start one that I really want to, because I have the Song of Achilles, and that one I'm really interested in reading. So we'll see which one I do next. I kind of want to stick to the novelizations because I did buy them, and I don't want to like, I want to continue to try, you know, but Song of Achilles will probably be next after that. I also have a list of books that I want to read that I haven't bought yet, just because I want to read what I have first and then move on from there. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. I know it wasn't super exciting, and I know I'm terrible at giving descriptions, but I hope you at least liked watching it just a little bit. And hopefully I will read more by this time next year. Thank you so much for watching, and I love you. Bye.